Hello, thank you so much for clicking to my channel. I thank you so much. I don't take it for granted because I know that you love listening from me. That's why you click this channel. And I'm happy to talk to you. I'm happy to tell you the things that I know and to share with you because it's about sharing. And I love sharing. If there is anything I love on this earth is to share with you the good news. But today I'm not going to read the Bible. Today I have something in my heart. I've always felt like I should share my testimony about the good, how God has taken me through when I started the journey with Him. And so this is gonna be like a few videos with all these testimonies because I cannot do it with one video. It's a long story and I don't want to make a long story so that you might be able to listen and watch, and it will motivate you in your life also because testimony is a good thing. So I want to start by saying that I am the second child in my family, and my mother had 11 children, and she lost three children. My follower and another one, I don't know which number she was. I don't remember. Oh my goodness, I lost the count. And the almost last born. So what I want to say is that there's been a journey in my growing up. My father really loved us, but he didn't have work that he was earning a lot. He was working with the water supply and he didn't have much, but he tried his best. And I must say that my father is late now and I still miss my daddy. I'm still that small little child that still want her father. It never end to be a small little child as long as your parents are still alive. Even when they are gone, you still miss them. You know, I miss my father so much. I started to talk about him. I did a mistake. Oh no. I miss my daddy. He understood me. He was somebody that knew me and I knew him. We knew each other. You know, I'm gonna talk about the good things I had with my daddy. The bad things, everybody have some areas that they did wrong, and of course, who is perfect? Nobody is perfect, yeah. But the good things in my daddy, I really loved. I really loved. So I want to say that when I was born, I remember my mother telling me, even though I've always wanted to find out from her some things, and whenever I call her, I do forget. I wanted to find out some things before I start doing this testimony, but because I've taken so long, every time I don't call and ask, I will just start along. But if there is anything to say in the future, I will say it. So what happened as we were still in primary school, we in those days when we were in Kenya, we had up to class 1 up to class 7, and then you do the exam CPE, and then you go to the secondary school, and then you go further to those days they didn't go to the youth, they go to university. So what happened is that my father didn't have enough money to educate us, and it was a struggle for him, but he tried his best. So when I reached Form 1, we kind of had a problem with school fees, and there was a time that something happened because it concerns one of my family. I will not mention it because I didn't ask her. That made him get so annoyed, and he took us home because of that what happened. And then somebody, a relative of mine, played me, and then I ended up in my father's children's hand, and I got immediately pregnant. I'm going to try to make it short. Then I lived there, and then I had 2 children. After 2 children, I was grown now because I was a small little girl. I was like, when I went there, I think I was 14 or something. I don't remember exactly. But then I got pregnant at a small age. I was not ready to have a child, but it was a trick that was done to me that made me be in that situation. And I stayed because I got pregnant. Then I had the second child. But this marriage was not a marriage of love or anything, but it happened like that. So what happened is that when I became wiser, like, getting much older at the age of 17, around there, I started to realize that this is not exactly what I wanted, because it wasn't my plan, it wasn't my idea. And now I was all the time thinking of running away. And at the end of the day, I did run away. So when I ran away, I went to my older sister. That time, my older sister was working in the city, in the big city, Nairobi, and I was back in our hometown. So I went to her and I started to work in the hair salon. And because I was somebody who was always trusting everybody, one thing that I made a mistake in my life as I was growing up, I trusted everyone. I trusted everyone. If you tell me something, I will trust you. I don't even doubt anybody. That's how I grew up. So after that, I met somebody, the father of my third child, and I trusted him. But when I got pregnant from him, because nobody had taught me how to use the pills, I didn't have enough education. I mean, I didn't have guardians that much because I left home at a young age. And the surrounding I was in couldn't help me to educate me to do the right things. And I don't blame anybody. It's just that life can take you places that you find yourself into and you don't have to, and I don't blame no one. But what happened then, I met somebody, a father of my third child in the city, and I trusted him so much. Meanwhile, I didn't know he was just having his fun. So, and then I got pregnant, and when I got pregnant, those days, I mean, again, and then he left. He left after I got pregnant because he didn't want to face the responsibility. So he left. Immediately recognized I'm pregnant, he left. He didn't want to take the responsibility. And then I had this child on my own. And of course, I was so beat at the time I was carrying this child. Later on, I was working in the salon. I'm a hairdresser, and I was a very hard-working hairdresser. Really, I made good money that enabled me to take care of my children, take them to school and pay my rent and take care of myself because I was hard-working. I was working from 7 to 7 in the evening, and I was working even during the weekend, Saturdays and Sundays. There was no resting day for me. And of course, God helped me. I was a hardworking person. I was able to maintain myself. I was able to pay the rent. I was able to take care of my children, and their fathers that time, they were not really helping. That's the life I led as I was growing up. So after that, then I again made the same mistake because I trusted everybody. I didn't stop trusting. I didn't learn my lessons because I was a very humbled girl. I wasn't wise. I don't know whether I should call it I wasn't wise. I don't know what to say about it, to be honest, because I still trusted the father of my fourth child now, and again I got pregnant. And when I got pregnant was the same thing. He also took off and left me with pregnancy. And when he came back when I was due, and that very night he came back, I went to maternity and had my son, and then we stayed with him. And then later on he took off again because he was those people who was not satisfied with only one woman. And he told me later on that that is his problem. He confessed that, yeah. And those are the past. It's not that I'm condemning anybody, it's my past. So after that, I had to raise up my children. I raised up my children. Many things happened along the way. I will not give all the details. So I was working hard by myself, taking care of my children and working from Monday to Sunday. What I was doing the hairdressing, I was buying some things and selling in the hairdressing shop where we were doing the hair. I had put my hand in everything that I could make every single coin in it. I am drinking tea because my throat is so itchy. I don't, at this time of months when so much flowers, yeah, God heal me. I do have a itchy throat and sometimes itchy noses. So I'll be drinking tea to stop the itchy because it's hot. So all this time I was raising up my children by myself. And then I met one Jewish guy who came in and helped a lot. God bless him wherever he is. And then after that, after raising my children, and then God blessed me and I had money. Then there was a friend who was living in Germany. Then I really wanted to come to Germany. I wanted to come to Europe to see how Europe looks like, because that was my first time to come to Germany. And because my friend, we did some, my friend, the Jewish guy, did so many businesses, and we got money, so I was able to afford a ticket to come to Germany. And when I came to Germany, I stayed for 3 months because those days German was visa free, and then I left back to Kenya after 3 months. But I met the man who married me later. I met him before I went back. Of course, when I met him, he came back for my birthday. That my birthday was in October, so he wanted to come for my birthday. That was something special for me. And when he came back, he decided he wanted to marry me, and that's how I landed in Germany. But the marriage didn't last for long. He later on realized that marriage is not his life. He likes freedom. He wants to go because his work was about traveling from one country to another. That was his work. And so he loved his work, and he knew that that work cannot work out with marriage. That's what he told me. And so he thought it's better to let the family go. And that's how I found myself being a single woman. Now, I'll tell you how the journey started from there. So, next time we'll hear the continuous story of my testimony. I don't want to take your time today so that you can chew my story bit by bit until we reach the end and know how God called me. My main point of giving my testimony is to know how God called me, the journey I've gone with Him, what has made me to trust Him. I want to tell you how the struggles I had, the things that happened along the way, the mistakes, the good things, so that you too, when you look at yourself, when you start this journey, don't be surprised when things comes along your life, and understand that the journey of Christ is a journey, but the ending is good. Here I am still smiling and happy in Christ. God is going to do that for you also. So don't fail to click the next video. Subscribe so that the next one will come automatic and you hear the rest of the story. God bless you so much and have a wonderful, wonderful, blessed time.